Risings family, they're gonna do a great little decode for us. Q School's still on hiatus. We'll be back soon though, maybe even later tonight. So see y'all when you get here. Love, love, love.
Welcome, family, to IAMS on the Rising. We sit here for another live stream. It's April 12th, 12:37 p.m. Eastern Time. I just want to greet everybody and ask that you thank our Creator along with me. Maybe some who don't mind, and that's okay as well. The last thing we encourage free here works amongst us in the intention of free Church for Truth. So we just ask that those principles be honored here and our space and time be protected. And so it is. Hey, I want you to take kind of special, when you see me bring up the NASA, you've seen the astronaut book speaking about after the splashdown. But she has a couple of interesting lines that I thought to just over about crew. And he talks about a lifeboat and the Earth being a lifeboat. Now, so it just has to start to like, shit, manifest really did. It's 11 April 7, right? Manifest is all about these dates. Our novel 300 opens up in New Year's Eve 1900. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a New Year's on a 13-month, being April 1st. This mission of Artemis to on April Fool's Day mission, right? But it's a new year, except 13 days later. That's what this is all, what we're all culminating here, is this time travel story with a Black Q team, et cetera, et cetera. Just a bunch of conspiracy nonsense, babble, right? Just a bunch of bullshit. But it happens to maybe be truth. We shall find out. Spirit, we're on the right track more often. So, please, Danae, I want your input on what's being said there in some way. I think it's interesting that they used the one woman pilot astronaut to hit our things here out of the crew, right? So there's something there. There's a bigger. Again, we got to look at JFK. All right, so I will introduce our numerals. John Gilligan for them to replay. I'm going to try to sort of just work hand in hand with John's numbers here, and see if we can't figure out if there's more than meets the eye on this 412. It has a feel of a 410-20, 412. On a DEFCON feel to this in the way DEFCON has more meanings than readiness condition, D class, and certain jurors, some of which end up in her speech. And when you think of the Fire and Fury novel that was written by that Fire and Fury is a DEFCON 1 and 200. That's all relating to this novel he wrote. That was Michael Wolff's white I don't know. It just has to do. He released it in advance of a camp, and I just think we see a culmination of disclosure coming at the same time as a war scare, and I think they're just building towards this precipice, and we're seeing evidence of it continually here. So, John, walk me through what you've got here, and tell me when you'd like us to. Do you want me to work backwards from today or starting from some day in the past?
You know, I had
Let's go back to the. So on the play, you're heading up. All right, do this with you. All right, calculator. All right, the 331 plus 64.
yeah, plus 64 plus 773.
All right, 1160. That's not used.
And look at the Bible for that. Look real quick. Living a fear life of straight fear.
Biblical 1168.
Yeah.
The term ball refers to the chief male Hebrew 1168. Interesting. The Hebrew 1168 refers to the chief male deity of the Canaanites and Phoenicians, a storm for Baal is mentioned frequently, often in context of Israelites, indicating a turning away from worshiping. For example, God command here in Judges 6:25, God commanded to tear down the altar of Baal. Well, I do like that reference right now. That's from here. All right. It's all about fear.
Yeah. Live like a fear of everything. I would die.
That's
But
okay.
I guess everyone
Well,
does. You know?
yeah, exactly. It's something we're trying to break free from. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't get scared of those meanings. That's definitely both the good and the bad. You know, we're doing things like the meaning of 1168. All right, so let's go to what you're telling me though is this day because of the 1168 is today. Like that's what I'm kind of. Where does 412? Where do you connect 412 to the 1168?
Well, so that's because I have all this written down, but you know, you kind of okay because I had 11,036 on 331 tomorrow, and you know the 11,036 that's a message to us too. That's the calendars. I said the 12/21, 2012, 10, 23, 27 things that matter in our movement here. All three together on 331 tomorrow. Those equal 11,000.
Okay.
That 11,030 when you can only do two things with the 36. You can do 6 and that's into a 119 Mary Magdalene, or you can do a 3 times 6 and it turns it into 18. 118. 6 wasn't put there because we can show both Mary and Mashiach. From I go, I add 32 to that number because It's 3 day. It's 3 calendars. So going 36 more days takes you to 1168 on this day. Perfect. And
All right.
and so it's matching the, Michael said everything is there on the plate. Everything. And this is there. And it's beautiful what it says and everything about what's going on. And then, Brian, when I add the 19 to the 64, because I know in the glove box it says 1964 registration. So I know it's not on the plate, but it's for a decoder to find it. When you add it to the 1168, it becomes 1187, the code, but with a 1 in front of it that turns the 1 plus 187 into the 188 of the 1.7 future. And it's so I think that plate is also telling us, we're part of the 7,700 down to 3, looking for us in these chats, and the 300 is they're telling us we're going to be martyred, and then we're going back to the future like it didn't happen with eternal life, and that's what they're showing us. Be martyred at the end of this 2029, because
All right, some of y'all said we got a little choppiness. So I'm gonna hop out and come right back in. Hang tight one sec, guys. All right, we back. Straight of Trump. Thanks hanging there, guys. See if the connection is better now.
it's the Caliusa 26,000 thing, that
Okay,
the
so let me
Earth
take it, John. Let me take it for a minute. All right.
All right.
So just to tie up, let's just add to what John has said with a couple of other synchronicities that lead to the latest thing, and these days that we start to see how that here. That's so I know what it means. Only that there's way too much here. Like just in this one graphic that I have. Well, all here. So today we're at day of the year. Now January 1. Right, so 15 takes you to 104. Or the license plate on the DeLorean, out of time, 104. All right, so we start to bring in the Back to the Future stuff here.
Yo, Brian,
All right.
also you're going to get the 4-2 April 2nd from the
415
14 times 3. And
yes,
just by the
okay,
way,
so
tomorrow is the 413 314 Mir Pi Day.
yes, that's what I
Yeah.
earlier.
And when
I was
you
just
add up to get 727, Harpazio,
all right.
of course, because it's the pi number.
Okay, so look,
Don, may I add something?
Yeah.
go.
When you were about 11:36, it just popped up and said, "Well, add the two together." all in. 47.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. And then to Mary Magdalene and Hamashiach, the 888. You can't just 888 ain't easy to get, you guys, And it's 11036, 36 days. And it's just all of those, the Mayan calendar, the revelation on her head with 12 stars and her moon, this whole thing. And the date, it's 388 on the first on the 88 there. I like it. But calendars, and that's how I know how where these three things are that I just said. The Mayan, the first Q 12. I know the number of it. So as the next day, I just the next day I can add 6 because they each go one day each day. So I know every day I do numbers. I know the total I do them, and that's how I keep track of all of them.
All right, look. I got these things. Right, okay, so let me speak for a moment, please.
Yeah, I'm glad I got someone else to help people because I never think I. Thanks, Brian.
All right. Okay, so everybody, we're tying in a lot of things into what amount of date, right? We have historical references that go back. I'm talking about modern day here would be Abraham Lincoln forward. That's 200 years, right? That one's 200 years. We're talking about. All right, so we have Abe Lincoln, we have JFK, we have Back to the Future, and then we have a biblical narrative that goes back to Cain and Abel with bloodline and whatnot. So there's a lot. That's why it's key to find certain things that, like, okay, Ingersoll Lockwood is so key because that's your JFK element tied to a time travel element, tied to Q 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue, right? So all of a sudden, elements it's always tied to Q. That's why, and so is the debt clock website. This is why these three things, when Ingersoll's
all right, looks like we got some problems out there. I don't know what Leo is, so if it's gonna be shitty, later. I'm gonna hit one more time. Let me all check comments, see on Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. I don't know if it's restream or what the dealio. For the info, y'all then let me know.
The hourglass and the Michael Jordan shoe and all of that symbolism, that was in 2023, right before Halloween. And posted, and since then they posted a whole JFK playlist talking about that the storm was here, but that it would last through years, through the end year. Now, today is 3, one day before that play, for a 13, which you just one more time. That is the G100 773. That's your 14. That's a 314 and a 413, all mirrored converts to 331 on the plate right there.